Hey, season's greetings and happy New Year's Eve, everyone. It's your old pal, the K-Man, 1971, back with my annual end-of-year comic book collecting special. This is a video where I'll basically be showcasing my top 52 back-issue pickups of the year and sharing my very biased pop culture opinions on everything that is MCU, DCU, and Star Wars related on the big and small screens that occurred throughout 2023. Overall, I thought it was a pretty darn good year for collecting. Ended up getting some good upgrades and scratching some loose ends off of my list. Picked up quite a few vintage Silver and Bronze Age comics, especially Silver Age. I really stood committed to that throughout the year. One of my trends throughout the year was picking up historic first encounters between classic characters. I did some great run filling on my Bronze Age Captain America, Conan the Barbarian, and Star Wars volumes. So overall, a good year for collecting. So this video will include some comics that I ended up picking up via trade-in. I had to actually trade in a box, all of filler, just so I could give myself a little bit more room for collecting in 2024. It's getting a little tight around here. I'll also have an order that was lost in the mail for over a month. And, just so it's not all reruns and books that you've seen throughout the year. And there's also some late editions that I ended up picking up from my birthday at the end of November that obviously weren't in time for the last haul, but in my opinion were definitely top 52 worthy. So without any further ado, let's get on to the comics, right? And overall, this is just a great excuse to end the year showing off a bunch of comics. So for the trade-in comics, we're going to kick it off with X-Men Forever, number 5, featuring this incredibly awesome Storm cover with the Marvel 70-year border variant. So, love these border variants. I love these throwbacks to the old Marvel 25-year border covers. So, and I'm a big X-Men geek. Never seen this before either, so it was a no-brainer. There weren't really any keys to pick up, but they did have a bunch of these MCU Prelude sets, all in high grade and complete and cheap. So, when I trade in comics, I don't usually do it for cash. I usually do it for more comics. So, I was happy to pick these up. Shout out to G-Dub Comics for consistently showing these off in his hauls throughout the years and putting these on my radar. I'm a sucker for a good movie adaptation, so why not? And who does not love the golden years of the MCU? It's been a rough Phase 4 and Phase 5 so far, but we're not going to concentrate on that. It's the end of the year. We're going to concentrate on the positives. So here we have Black Panther Prelude number 1 of 2 and 2 of 2. Civil War, Captain America, Civil War Prelude, number 1 of 4. And I would keep an eye out for this one. This book actually can go for like $20-25 on a good day. People love the RDJ photo covers. Here's number 2, number 3, and number 4. Also picked up the Thor Ragnarok Prelude set. So here's number 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4, which I feel that issue right there probably has some potential. Who did not love the season 2 finale of Loki? Incredible. Avengers Infinity War Prelude, number 1 of 2. 2 of 2, just another incredible cover. And these are tough black covers, all high grade. I think these books have potential. I mean, nostalgia is a hell of a drug, right? Avengers Prelude, Avengers Endgame Prelude, number 1. For some reason, it doesn't have Endgame in the title. I don't know why. But here's number 2. And number 3, another RDJ classic cover. Love that stuff, man. Hopefully, they can get this back on track. All right. Moving on to an order that was, I thought, lost forever. And then it appeared on my doorstep one rainy day like a Christmas miracle. Here we have more Joe Jusko goodness. So we have Savage Sword of Conan, number 103. Awesome, Joe Jusko awesomeness. Little derivative, sorry. Savage Sword of Conan number 118, another Jusco joint. And lastly, the whole reason I picked up these books to begin with was Savage Sword of Conan number 159. The other two, actually, the seller ended up throwing those in for free to try to make good on this, but he still sucked. I'm sorry. So, Savage Sword of Conan number 159, awesome Conan cover. He's looking at us all like, do you even lift, bro? Sorry, couldn't resist. All right, moving on to the actual top 52 comics. So, these will not be in numerical order as usual. Aside from the top 10, it would just take way too long. But I did break them down in era, I guess. So I have all the Modern Age books clumped together, all the Bronze Age books clumped together, all the Silver Age books clumped together, and then we'll get to the top 10. So kicking it off, and these first several books were actually all books that were late arrivals, so they weren't featured in any of my previous hauls throughout the year. So kicking it off, we have Next Wave number 1, which features the updated Elsa Bloodstone look that we all have come to know and love now. So kind of like Lobo, did not look like Lobo at all in Omega Men number 3. Elsa Bloodstone did not look like this with the red hair and the updated gothic uniform or costume, whatever you want to call it, when she made her first appearance. So, and I definitely prefer this look over her original look. So dope character. Hopefully they do something with her. Moving on. Here we have the Spectre, number 54, first appearance of the second Mr. Terrific. The Authority, number 1, first appearance of the Authority and the Engineer. And if you're going to grab the first appearance of the Authority, you have to grab the first appearance of Apollo and Midnighter in Stormwatch number 4. So I never had really any interest in the Authority or Apollo or Midnighter per se, not for the ignorant homophobic reasons, but more because they're just more derivatives of Batman and Superman, just edgier and more violent. So I've seen that before, but now that the Authority is going to be a major part of the James Gunn DCU, I wanted to check it out. And all I can say is Brian Hitch's artwork. It always looks good, but it never looks as good as it does when Paul Neary is on inks. It's almost like a John Byrne, Terry Austin combination. Stormwatch number 37, first appearance of Jenny Sparks. 2023 was also a year of me snagging a bunch of early Ahsoka Tano appearances. Loved the show. That was probably the highlight of 2023 for me on the small and big screen. I guess for comic book movies, and it was a tough year for comic book movies and Disney Plus and streaming shows in general this year. But the Ahsoka show was, I just thought it knocked it out of the park. We went to a different galaxy, introduced different characters, left on a great cliffhanger. We have Thrawn in the middle of the Mandoverse now. Just great stuff. It delivered. And, when you're looking forward to something and it actually delivers, I was pretty happy about it. So here we have number 2. Number 3 of Star Wars The Clone Wars. And number 6. So almost a deja vu of when I was going back tracking and trying to pick up all the early Harley Quinn first appearances. So definitely looking forward to more Ahsoka whenever it happens down the road. Tomb Raider Witchblade, the core something variant, but this is the first appearance of Tomb Raider in comics, which I thought was pretty neat. Also pretty neat. Freddy Krueger's A Nightmare on Elm Street, number 1. Nice high-grade magazine. Another Joe Jusko joint, and the first appearance of Freddy Krueger in comics. This is kind of like lit my fire again to want to go out and grab a bunch of classic, mostly classic Marvel magazines that I'd like to knock off in 2024 and get back to my horror roots and grab some nice Marvel horror, as well as some DC Bronze Age horror in 2024. All right, how about we jump into the Bronze Age, shall we? Kicking it off, we have The Incredible Hulk, number 135, featuring the first encounter between Kang and the Incredible Hulk. Pretty awesome. Also awesome is how the year 1971 is so pronounced on the cover, because that is the year that I made my first appearance in the Bronze Age. Yes! So, it sucks what happened with Jonathan Majors for all parties involved. Hopefully everything works out for everyone in their personal lives. But as far as the MCU goes, I mean, I don't really see what the big deal is. I mean, just recast the character. You don't have to get rid of Kang. It's not like the MCU hasn't recast in the past of major characters. I mean, Mark Ruffalo worked out pretty well as the Hulk. Rhodey was replaced as War Machine. So, and I'm sure there was another one too that I just can't remember. But I mean, why not? Let's roll. As long as they replace Mr. Majors with a quality actor, let's roll. Showcase presents number 97, featuring the first solo Power Girl story. Adventure Comics number 428, the first appearance of the Black Orchid. Richard Dragon Kung Fu Fighter, the first appearance of Lady Shiva. Or is it Shiva? Or is it Shiva? I don't know. Batman Family number 17, the first meeting between Catwoman and Poison Ivy. Batman number 255, and this is the last Neil Adams illustrated issue on the ongoing Batman title. And speaking of famous lasts, Fantastic Four, number 102, and this is the last issue in the historic, groundbreaking, trailblazing run of Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. The end of all runs, in my humble opinion, anyway. DC Comics presents number 27, first appearance of Mongol. Action Comics number 521, first appearance of Vixen. And probably my favorite stealth buy from Out in the Wild, Superman number 261, which features this classic Nick Cardy Star Sapphire cover. Love his art style. His art style is just so clean. You know, certain artists just have this clean, sleek art style. Nick Cardy, Ed McGuinness, Alan Davis comes to mind. Just love their art. Here's some nice nostalgia. Spidey Super Stories number 1 from my very early childhood PBS days. Upgrade of the year right here. Marvel Team Up Annual number 1, which features Spider-Man's first crossover with the all-new, all-different X-Men, and more importantly, the first meeting and team-up between my two favorite Marvel characters, Wolverine and Spider-Man. Awesome. And to top off the Bronze Age, a book that's been on, or a magazine rather, that's been on my list for years, The Deadly Hands of Kung Fu, number 14, that just features this epic Neil Adams Bruce Lee cover. I've wanted this for a long time. I think I paid like $45-50 for this. I had to go online for it, but that wasn't that bad of a deal, I don't think. So, very happy to finally add this to my collection. An old school YouTuber named Comic Hoarder, who, if his channel's still active, I would suggest checking out his videos. Just a treasure trove of great comics and knowledge right there. And I've never seen this since, so very happy to finally add it to the collection. All right, on to the Silver Age. All right. Daredevil number 52, which features the first encounter between Daredevil and the Black Panther. A book that would be higher on the list if it was in better condition. This one's only like a 4.0, but Captain America number 113, featuring this classic Steranko cover and interiors. Detective Comics number 369, which I initially thought was a third overall appearance of Batgirl, but this is her third appearance in the Detective Comics title. But what makes this comic really cool, in my opinion anyway, is it's the first team-up between Robin and Batgirl. And considering the long-running history between Dick Grayson and Barbara Gordon, I think that's pretty neat as far as Batman history goes. And speaking of Batman history, Detective Comics number 371, aside from the very outdated sexist cover, this features the first appearance of the Adam West era Batmobile in the regular Detective Comics title, which, awesome. Just awesome. Tales of Suspense number 75, which features the first appearance of Sharon Carter in Batrock, the French Assassin. Tales of Suspense number 80, just this awesome, I love these old school yellow covers, man. But classic Red Skull Cosmic Cube Captain America cover. And this is the first part of a crossover between Tales of Suspense and Tales to Astonish number 82. Well, at least the Iron Man Submariner story that's featured in the backup. Tales of Suspense number 97, which features the first appearance of Whiplash and the first meeting between Captain America and the Black Panther, which continued over into Tales of Suspense number 98. Another awesome yellow cover and just a classic Silver Age cover overall, in my opinion. Tales to Astonish number 79, and I believe this is the first encounter between the Hulk and Hercules. Features a decent throwdown, too. And here is Tales to Astonish number 82, which was the continuation from the Submariner Iron Man story from Tales of Suspense number 80. All right. World's Finest number 143. One of 3 severely underrated World's Finest comics, in my opinion, anyway. And this features the first BVS, the first Batman versus Superman. I mean, this has like become a long-standing tradition in the DC Comics now, so definitely a lot cheaper than the first Hulk versus Thing, but I think just as important. More Batman history. World's Finest number 165, and this is the first time that Bill Finger ended up penning a story featuring his co-creation, little character named Batman. So I think that's pretty important, pretty neat to have. And lastly, World's Finest number 169, and this issue does feature the third overall appearance of Batgirl, but more importantly, in my opinion, the first meeting between Batgirl and Supergirl, and the first teaming up of these 2 classic characters, which was like a mainstay when I first started reading comics as a child. All right, let's make a little bit more room. Always happy to add any Amazing Spider-Man from the Silver Age into the collection. So here we have Amazing Spider-Man number 57, first encounter between Spider-Man and Kazar. Amazing Spider-Man King Size Special, aka Annual number 4, which I believe this has the 3rd or 4th appearance of Mysterio, and just a classic battle cover. Showcase Presents number 73, first appearance of Steve Ditko's creation, the Creeper. And Showcase Presents number 80, which features the first Silver Age appearance of the Phantom Stranger. Up until this year, I always thought the Phantom Stranger was from the Silver Age, but I guess he made his debut back in the early 1950s. Speaking of Phantom Stranger, pretty high-grade copy of Phantom Stranger number 1. That's pretty dope. Always love a nice premiere issue from the Silver Age. Speaking of which, the Spectre number 1. Not as in good condition, probably fine plus, but I'll take it. All right, down to the top 10. Finally. All right, back to Ahsoka. Star Wars: The Clone Wars, Shipyards of Doom, OGN, Shrunk in the Wash. This is the second overall appearance of Ahsoka Tano, so now I have her first several appearances in comics. So, as a Star Wars fan, as a Star Wars addict, that makes me very happy. Cover of the year right here. Conan, the Frazetta cover series, number 8. And this is just beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Taylor Swift lately has been throwing around the expression, quote unquote, that's metal. I'm not a hater of Taylor Swift, but I'm not a fan either. I'm just not a pop music guy. But Taylor Swift does not know metal. I'm sorry. This is metal. On with the countdown. Incredible Hulk, number 122. One of the greatest rivalries in comics. The ever-loving Blue-Eyed Thing versus the Incredible Hulk. I mean, it's just like classic rock. I can just listen to this one forever, or rather read this one forever. The Last of Us, the Naughty Dog variant, number 1, first appearance of Ellie. And love this series. Looking forward to it coming back whenever it does. I wasn't really hyped up for another zombie apocalypse show at all. I'd already stopped watching The Walking Dead for several years, but the show was so just well written, well acted, well shot. The action sequences were incredible. Yeah, looking forward to it. Never played the game, so went into it, flying blind, and really enjoyed it. Looking forward to it. Coming back. Captain America number 111, one of my top 5 Jim Steranko covers, and it's just crazy that how far ahead of his time Jim Steranko was back in the Silver Age. Incredible. Fantastic Four, number 94, and this is the first appearance of Agatha Harkness in comics. A comic that, once again, I thought was out of range for what I wanted to pay for it, considering, it was just the first appearance of Agatha Harkness. But, once again, came back down, so I won't be surprised at all if it shoots back up once we start seeing trailers for the upcoming series. I mean, let's face it, 2024, there's not going to be a lot for the speculators to really speculate on. I mean, there's no real major Marvel movie coming out aside from Deadpool 3, which I'm really looking forward to. That's going to be like my event of 2024, but no major MCU movies aside from that. No DCU movies until Superman Legacy the following year. The only other one is the second Joker movie, which is kind of like an Elseworlds project. No Mando, no Ahsoka. So, yeah. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this book shoots back up again. Hopefully the series doesn't suck. Battle of the Planets, number 1 from Gold Key Comics. Now, here's a nice slice of nostalgia here. Used to watch this cartoon religiously as a child, so really happy to pick it up. This is another example of riding the speculation wave of this book really shot up when there was rumors that the Russo brothers were going to direct a live-action version of this, but nothing. I haven't heard anything about that since. And since then, the book has come back down again. I mean, and that's when I swooped in, so very happy to add it into the collection. Bloodstone number 1, first appearance of Elsa Bloodstone, and once again, another perfect example of the speculation wave. I mean, people are paying crazy money for characters that are just going to have like bit parts, one-offs in movies, and here's an example of a character that people were speculating on for years, myself included, leading up to when eventually it was announced that she was going to be in the Werewolf by Night Halloween special, and this book took off even more, and then the special hit, and it was universally praised and loved by everyone, and it doesn't seem like there's anything to look forward to with this character, so the book came crashing back down again, like less than half the price of what it was going for when I picked it up. So very happy to pick it up. Hopefully Marvel can do something with these characters and the whole Midnight Suns area of the MCU, so I'm sure they will. So down to the last 2. My one slab of the year, Strange Adventures, number 180, featuring the first appearance of Buddy Baker, a.k.a. the Animal Man, CGC 5.5, which, they've had a tough go of it as of lately, too, right, with the scams. So unless someone took out a 5.0 or 4 point something and slid it into here, I don't think they're doing it with a lower grade, so I think I'm pretty safe. But very happy to pick this up. Animal Man, big fan of the Grant Morrison run, the Jeff Lemire run, just one of those great deep cut characters. Like everyone else, I'm a big fan of like the mainstream characters that everyone loves, Batman, Superman, Wolverine, Spider-Man, etc. But I love the deep cut obscure characters that only us true comic book geeks really get into, like Animal Man, The Question, Warlord, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, stuff like that. You know what I mean? Vigilante comes to mind. So, really happy to add it into the collection. I was really torn between this and the next book for Book of the Year. But the Book of the Year goes to Adventure Comics number 283, which features the first appearance of the Phantom Zone and the first appearance of General Kneel Before Zod. So, really happy to pick this up. Now, Animal Man, like General Zod, he doesn't have a definitive run or a definitive story in comics, but, and while Animal Man definitely does with the Morrison and Lemire runs, I picked this as my pick of the haul because overall, I'm a Superman fan, and this is probably my most significant Superman back issue now that I think about it. I mean, as Superman fans know, I own a lot of Superman comics over a long box, and most of those I couldn't get $1 for, right? as most Superman fans know, there aren't many keys. The keys are pretty sparse outside the Silver Age and Golden Age. So really happy to pick this up. Superman 2 back in 1978 was one of my favorite childhood experiences, watching Superman throw down with Zod and his two other henchmen and Gene Hackman, and just one of those classic childhood moments. So very, very happy to pick this up and add it into the PC. So that's all I have for this year. As for next year, well, I started off this channel doing like a haul every single week. I don't even know how I was doing that before. And then I got down to like monthly and then almost bi-monthly. And then like this year, I only ended up getting like 8 hauls. Next year, I'll probably be even less. So, but I would like to work on my, for what I am going to go after is like I was saying before, some classic Marvel, mostly Marvel magazines, some Bronze Age horror. And as far as big boy books, if prices continue to lower and I can get the right price and range and condition matchup, I would love to pick up an All-Star Western 10 featuring the first appearance of Jonah Hex, or Green Lantern Green Arrow 87 featuring the first appearance of John Stewart. I'd love to finish off the original Silver Surfer 3-parter and snag a FF 49 and 50, and hell, a 52 featuring the first appearance of Black Panther. But once again, that's a big if prices continue to lower and I can get the right condition and the right price lined up. So I do plan on having more comic book collection spotlight videos, dusting that off again, my little side series, and maybe some variations of top 50 videos, as well as some greatest hits collector's series that I was thinking about kicking around. So hopefully you all like it. So until next time, I'll see you all on the other side in 2024. Have a very happy and safe New Year's. Thank you all for watching, liking, and subscribing. All right, take care. See ya!